monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Yeah, what's up?
But hold up, I got something to say.
I got something to say. This is episode 8 coming to you. Yeah, we're all the way at 8. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, it's been a crazy week. And, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I want to get into. We got the shirts. Motherfuckers, you know.
Yeah.
Y'all got to come out and get the shirts. Shirts going to be on the website. For those who aren't with us, the ones who haven't asked for it or whatever, I'm getting the shirts to people. Everybody, I promised I was gonna get shirts to.
Got the pink for the ladies.
But yeah, of course, we got that out there. We getting it in. We doing what we could do. You know, whatever little bit we could do to try to show our appreciation. We got something special coming up for the 100th episode. For those who've been supporting us for the longest, we're gonna, you know, from our day one. So stick with us. So we got something special for y'all, especially y'all in Minnesota. We're gonna do something. I don't wanna say nothing yet, although it's firm. I just want to I want to keep everybody watching. I got something to say. This is episode 8. It's just Moe. I'm SAF Moe, your prison lawyer. This is my
Ron P in the middle.
and we are
The voice of the voiceless.
Man, let's get this shit, you know? Sweatshirt. We back, so, and I like this. I like what we're doing. I was just talking about my guy that was talking about a female that he was dealing with in the joint, and how when he told her what he was in for, she reacted like, you know. And but like I said, the music, that drill music or drug dealer music is common. But that it goes right back to a female not really wanting to do a bid with you, and using any reason she can to leave you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Being like, oh, he was cheating on me. Mm-hmm. You knew he was cheating on you. Right. You knew he was cheating on you. Stop it. Stop the shenanigans. Right. You know, so you just using that right now so you can just, you know, I'm not
excuse for her to do what she wanted to do.
Yeah, he gone. Mm-hmm. You know, so like I said, I was talking to him about that, and he expressed that to me, and he's writing Still Waters, and Still Waters garbage. But then, like I said, I was talking to some brothers, free Richie Rich, free Derek Jordan, free Carlos Smith, free all our guys, free Jamal Eason, free Southside, free
Patrick Edwards.
Yes, sir.
In the Fed.
Yes, sir. We free all our guys, really. You know what I'm saying? Free them all, because, you know, like I said, they over incarcerating us. But yeah, I'm talking to the guys over in Illinois and we got a brother breaking down that's I think it's a C felony. Mm-hmm. The C felony where you do all your time. They talking about Illinois hasn't had a parole board since the 80s. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with those guys, I think what we all need to understand is that first and foremost, we have to network. I can't say it. Subscribe, support us, look out for us. Because if you like what we're bringing, the only way we can continue to bring it is if we're in there. But as a network, if we
need y'all support.
Yeah, but as a network, we become a powerhouse, and we can do things. We can establish things. I remember the first time we had our first podcast, you asked me, how do I see the podcast? What do you think I say? How do I see it working out? And I was like, well, we're a platform, but you was like, don't you want to see us be able to bring jobs and stuff like that to people? Yeah. We can bring that through networking, and we could also bring that through not knowledge. Because if individuals, I want to apologize to Platinum Staffing. I wanted to retract it. The conversation I had was correct, but it was Pride Staffing, not Platinum Staffing. So what you said was correct. What I said was correct, but I had the wrong.
Platinum Staffing is the truth. They really help convicted felons.
Like I said with it, I just had it wrong because I was talking about Pride Staffing on 85th out in Brooklyn Park. That's where my issue. But it was funny. Like our experience was the same. The black female, the white female, the go do that. And like I said, when you said Platinum, I immediately, and you said Brooklyn Park, I was like, so for some reason I was like, that must be the only staffing company out there. But I know I was wrong. And then when I kept watching the episodes, I sort of knew that I looked it up. Because I go past that little staffing place all the time and just think about.
And you found out we weren't talking about the same.
We weren't talking about the same staffing. And again, I apologize. I think you said your girl was checking us out on a tour.
Veda.
Veda checked us out on a tour.
Shout out to Veda over there at Platinum Staffing. Thank you, Veda. You really helped me out. Put me on my feet.
Even stars make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Veda let me work without a social security card for a couple months.
I apologize. I mean, I can't say it no more. It was Pride Staffing on 85th and that little motherfucking strip mall that fucked me over. But I had an interesting issue this week. I was going out looking at a semi to buy a semi on some stuff I had to do with some project I was working on. It's a cost analysis project that I'm on. But besides, I know y'all be watching me. I know I act like a fool, but I'm actually smart. So I went to a semi dealership to purchase a
Volvo dealership?
Volvo Mac dealership. And but prior to that, I had watched the lady from Modern Day Slavery, Plantation, and the sister was speaking about
from Plantation to Prison.
Yeah, that was like Joy Leary, I think her name is. I might have it wrong, but her first name is Joy. And if you check her out, she's on there, but she's on YouTube too. She's on YouTube. I subscribe to her, but she was breaking down the episode she had. And I'm a backdrop into it, but I go to the dealership. I bought several things in my lifespan, and so I asking the guy about purchasing a dealership, purchasing a vehicle, but I've never purchased a semi before. So I'm a novice to it. So I explained to the guy, like, hey, I haven't purchased a semi before. Could you explain to me what I need to do? Or could you just give me, because in my mind, I'm thinking I purchase cars. Can you just give me the XLT semi? I want, give me everything with all the bells and whistles or whatever. He's like, it doesn't work like that. Every semi is kind of like independent. You build the semi. So I understand, like, you can automatic transmission. You can have a manual transmission with 25 shifts in it or whatever, gear ratios, all types of stuff. I understand mechanics behind it, but I never purchased a semi. So at that particular point, I feel like when he addressed me about it, when I told him I was a novice, he then took this approach, and it always happened with these Caucasians.
How were you dressed when you went in there?
I was dressed, I get down. I have my motherfucking Terrell Davis throwback, you know what I'm saying, with my, but I'm clean, you know what I'm saying. I have my little deal on. I don't pull up in my car, pull up in my wife's car. So I'm not, I'm real low key. Right. But I feel like my vernacular, my conversation piece will let you know I'm not your run-of-the-mill guy. But besides all that, so I asked him. I think the problem I had with him is because I told him that I was a novice. So he came back to me. He was like, so have you driven a truck before? I said, no, I haven't driven a truck before. And he was like, so you're going to put somebody in the vehicle? I said, yeah, I'm going to put somebody, I'm going to buy the vehicle and put somebody in the vehicle. Mm-hmm. At that particular point, he took another approach toward me. He's trying to talk down to me. Like, listen, I'm smarter than you. Do not talk down to me. So
you said that to him?
No, in my mind, immediately when he starts but I take offense immediately mm-hmm. when you start talking down to me, because so I said, I said I haven't purchased vehicles. I haven't purchased a truck before, but I purchased several vehicles. He says it's not like purchasing vehicles. So, and then he went on, and then he breaks down. He's like, the pricing goes all the way into whether you want manual windows or you want power windows. Okay, cool. I'm still a customer asking for information. Your job as a salesperson is to give me information.
Right.
So he said something that really bothered me. He was like, if you could purchase. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, but he's like, I'm not trying to pre-qualify you or anything like that, but do you have a do I have a transportation license or some other license? And I was like, no. But the thing about it is he's telling me the first vehicle I can't get it to 2022, around this time. So if it takes all these rigmaroles to actually get a vehicle, or get a vehicle, then if I have the money to purchase a vehicle, why can't I purchase a vehicle? So long story short, me and him, it doesn't work out. So it doesn't work out. You're trying to talk down to me, then you tell me I can't purchase and all this other shit. I done bought $1 million houses. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I'll spend off on them. He's like, oh, this is not working. I'm trying to help you, and you think I'm doing this to you. Like, whatever, dude. So I spend off, walk out the place. And in my mind, I'm thinking he's a bitch, and I actually say it, not thinking anything of it, because we're both on two separate parts of the place and walking out, and not saying that trying to. So
your thinking came out loud.
Well, he came out loud, so he heard me. He was like, hey, he's like, what did you say? Hold on, wait a minute. Now the street motherfucker gonna come out on me.
Right.
Now I'm a street motherfucker. Like, so I made sure I walked back into the dealership. I didn't go in front of him so he didn't feel intimidated by me. But where he could see me, I said, listen, man. I said, I called you a bitch and I did not stutter. And I left it like that. He didn't say nothing else. Like I said, and matter of fact, I get to the point where you can go get whoever you want to go get. I'm gonna beat all y'all ass. But I left. And so I was hot. But so the reason I brought that up is because I watched Joy Leary. Mm-hmm. She's got a middle name too. Talk about her being black and having a sister-in-law that passes. And what passes mean is she's a black person that looks like a Caucasian. Mm. And in that situation, she talked about how they were both going through the cashier line and how they were treated differently, and how she was treated like they pulled out the so-called white sister-in-law goes through, and they don't card her or anything like that. Ask for IDs. She goes through. She asks for 2 forms of ID, and then so I felt some type of way, and I felt that type of way, like because I come in with my Terrell Davis jersey on, my hat cocked, and I'm speaking to you in your language. Right. You should be able to give me the rudimentary, and I think the only reason he didn't do what he needed to do is because he felt he prejudged me to be this individual.
You let him take you out your character though. Because that ain't your character to call somebody a bitch like that.
I call motherfuckers bitches on a regular basis, but I just, like I said, that conversation, it should never happen because I'm in a position as a consumer, and he's in a position as a salesperson. He's my sale. Mm-hmm. I don't need him. I don't buy a Vulcan truck from anybody. Right. Fuck him. But the thing about it is, I had just watched her YouTube, and I felt a certain type of way. Like,
so it was already in your head.
But
what was going on?
She already gave me the playbook, and it's been happening to our parents because Joy. The reason I had a problem with Joy and her understanding of the situation is she's taking the sympathetic Negro position, like because I had a generous white person here to facilitate the situation, it was mitigated. What I mean is her sister-in-law, who passes as white, comes in and checks the lady. Mm-hmm. Now we've never had that in our community. Mm-hmm. As black folks, and it goes back to the prison situation. Black men going to prison. Who cares about a black male? Who cares about you? Gives no fuck about you. Being a black male, you're a problem in our community. We've been playing it as a problem in our community.
Welcome to I Got Something to Say. I'm SAF Moe, your prison lawyer, with my man
Ron B in the middle.
Ron B in the middle, yes sir. And this is episode 8. And in this episode, we're just going to really go over a couple of current affairs, mainly Kim Potter, the Brooklyn Park police officer that killed or shot.
Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Dante Wright.
Dante Wright, yeah, she's going to trial right now on a case. And just air out our opinion because it's about criminal justice. We're not trying to bandwagon or nothing like that, but it's current affairs and we want to talk about it and spread our knowledge on it. But we also want to talk about a couple of other different things that's been going on. Y'all stay tuned, support the real, listen, watch, support the real.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, sir. Let's do this.
We're back. Welcome back to I Got Something to Say. I'm Ron B in the middle with my main man.
SAF Moe, your prison lawyer here.
And we are
the voice of the voiceless.
The what?
The voice of the voiceless.
The what?
We are the voice of the voiceless.
The what? The only what?
The only ones.
The only voice.
The only voice.
Don't y'all forget it.
Yeah, but something to say. I got something to say. I gotta say something about that.
I got something to say. You got something to say. We all got something to say. Let's say
I gotta say something about that Kim Potter deal. Kim Potter, Potter, whatever her name is. The one is getting specialized treatment, and they trying to say it's not specialized treatment, but it is specialized treatment. You know what I'm saying?
How she at home right now, going to court from home.
Well, that's interesting that she's at home. She initially started off doing all her additional arraignments and continue whatever it was, Rule 9s and stuff, Rule 9, Rule 11, whatever they're gonna give her at home in the confinement of her home. And a lot of people might say, well, it's because of COVID. She was on bail and it was because of COVID. They really didn't want to have too much interaction.
But how did she get the bail? It was $1 million bail. How did she get out?
Who
paid for that?
That conversation. I want to stay. I got some conversation about that conversation, but I got something to say about her trial in general. Being in Minnesota, being a white female, getting she doesn't have to worry about so much knowing the legal system because the legal system is going to protect her. Mm-hmm. They're going to protect her. They're going to make sure she gets justice, right? Make sure all the rules of the law are followed in her case, right? And our cases are totally different than that.
No, we get shitted on, so to speak.
We get thrown to the wolves. Our lives don't mean anything. Our families being ripped apart doesn't mean anything. I know a lot of people are sympathetic, whether it be she was wearing the clothing of a police officer during the time or whatever it might be. They're sympathetic to her cause, but they're not sympathetic to our cause because I say back up. It's not the crime that you committed. It's all the stereotypes that they believe that we're party to. They don't know that you're a hardworking gentleman who's solid. They don't know those things about you. You know what I'm saying? To make you a human, not a nigga, not a black, not an African American, colored, whatever they want to call you, a chickaboo. You know what I'm saying? So they see those things when he's a pimp, a drug dealer, thug,
ex-con,
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't look the part, they still put you because it's easy to compartmentalize individuals instead of trying to figure out who that individual really is. Yeah,
what he's really about.
Right, and that's the problem with the society in general. And that's what's going through her case. I personally feel in this case right here, different than this whole Derek Chauvin case. I think she's gonna walk on this particular case. That's my personal feeling.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I told my man, shout out to Solo out there in the CHICAGO.
What's up? Shout out to all the guys, free all the guys. Richie Rich, free them all, go ahead.
But I told my man Solo, we argued in the cell.
What about what case?
About the Derek Chauvin case. He said he gonna get off. He said he gonna get off. I said, no, he's not. We made a bet for $50.
And you still owe my man $50?
Yeah. I want my money too, Solo.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot different than this case. The dynamics are different. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with the case, what you deal with George Floyd case, his case was national, international.
Yeah.
So Minnesota had to step up. They couldn't act like the South that they are. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X said it best.
But
any place south of Canada is the South, and Minnesota is the South.
Well, I won't go so far as say that.
You gonna get in the middle, Ron?
I'm gonna be right dead in the middle of this.
Be in the middle.
I think you right to a certain extent, but I think the reason why Derek Chauvin got convicted because those jurors were human beings that understand what really happened. They really looked at the dynamics of the case. They looked at the 9 minutes or however long he was on his neck like that, relaxing his arms, lifting his foot up off the ground. They really looked at all of that, and it was a good trial. It was a good prosecution, and they seen that. But in this case right here, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know.
I know this lady's gonna walk because for initially the judge didn't want the press to be. The judge is doing. See, when you go into trial, it's sort of what Baby Crip was saying, but it's almost a hybrid understanding of it. She's going in with she was doing her job as a police officer. The same way Derek Chauvin, whatever his name is, Mr. Chauvin went in and inmate Chauvin went in and did what he did.
I'll tell you one thing she can't use. She can't use that narrative that you were talking about that she feared for her life.
Listen.
She can't use that.
Listen.
Because this man in the car driving off.
Listen.
Trying to get in this car and drive off.
What narrative they used when they killed Castile? What narrative did he use? What was he doing so wrong?
Nothing.
I mean, don't get
the man asked
like I said, don't get into a confrontation or argument with me or some type of pit when it comes to black males being killed in the streets by these police officers who are nothing but armed assassins, mercenaries for the state. Period. That's what they do. That's how they carry themselves. That's their mentality.
Not all of them.
All of them are.
Not all of them.
Period. But back to Kim Potter, innocent to proven guilty. She's gonna get that benefit of the doubt, although we don't.
No, we don't get that.
We don't get the benefit.
She's guilty innocent. To proven innocent.
She's innocent.
Yeah.
She's innocent. They treat her like an innocent victim.
Right.
Even though in our case, we're never the victim, right? We can never be the victim. The court never treats us like the victim. They want us locked up. They want us put placed in a bullpen. They want us in a bullpen, shackled prior to coming in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? They want us sitting in those cells. They want us eating that garbage ass food. Because what? We take a deal. Take the deal. Take the deal. 18 months. 18 months.
Going to slave plantation and work.
Come on, man.
18 months.
So with her situation and what's going on with her right now, I feel as though the court been trying to get him back, and it's just been conflict of schedules. But I gotta call you too, Baby Crip. It's like this. It's not like she was you or me on the streets and I shot you and killed you, or you shot me and killed you. It's not like that. It's like an overseer killed a slave in her case. Because what would happen if an overseer killed a slave? A slave master wouldn't take the overseer to criminal court because he killed a slave. He would take him to civil court because you damaged my property. Same way if you hit my car. You hit my car, you tore out my car, you did something like that, and I felt like it was malicious. I would take you to civil court.
Yeah, but she's still going to criminal court, right?
She's in criminal court, but they treat it like it's a civil matter.
Because she's at home.
She's at
whatever, house arrest, whatever.
Even all the I was just watching. I don't really watch the news, mainstream news, just because they lie all the time, and therefore, to make you seem, even though you're not innocent to proven guilty, you're guilty of a crime.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you really believe that she made a mistake, or do you believe she intentionally shot this guy?
I believe. I wasn't there. Let's.
No, but you seen the camera footage. You seen the video footage. You seen everything. It's all there.
I haven't seen anything. What I know is their behavior. That's what I'm gonna concentrate on, not visual or her narrative or what she's been programmed to say.
So what's her record with the police department? Her disciplinary.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters.
It does when you say you want to talk about her behavior.
I'm talking about her narrative because they all come out of a school of thought. Okay, back in Afghanistan, they had individuals riding around killing Afghanis. They They were killing.
And don't think I'm on nobody's side.
They were
I'm not
killing
nobody.
them.
I'm just being
no,
open-minded.
you don't
Asking
have to explain.
questions.
You don't have to explain yourself.
I'm just asking questions.
The thing about it is they had a death squad. They were American soldiers killing them. They was killing them for fun, but they knew that under the rules of there were certain rules under the
color law.
When in contact, when you come in contact with an enemy combatant, certain rules. So if the enemy combatant had a gun or the enemy combatant was threatening you could always utilize that to kill. So these individuals riding around, there was nothing happening, but they were killing innocent Afghanis. The reason they were doing that is because they wanted to have fun. They wanted to kill people. They went over there and to war to kill people wasn't what they wanted to be, so they tried to make it. So that behavior, that's what I mean. That's the behavior I want to talk about. That same behavior is within a police force. You know why I say that? Because you don't remember back in the days when they had that, they were going through Iraq and they had that little prison and they caught those COs from the United States because remember they set up a prison stacking those.
It's like
brothers.
What was that, Guantanamo Bay or something?
No, it wasn't Guantanamo Bay because that's in Cuba. It was I forget Abu Ghraib. I think that's where it was where it occurred, where they were doing all this stuff, sadistic stuff. Same COs from the States. They don't connect the dots. Same COs from the States over there doing all the sadistic ass shit. Female CO doing all the sadistic stuff. They had a record that it was covered up. But they went over there to do it. So back to why she did what she did. Hypothetically, theoretically, whatever you want to do, you want to put it into place. A lot of those individuals have, they know what they can do under the color of law. So they know that they can kill an individual under the color of law. So a lot of those individuals utilize that to initiate the behavior necessary.
So you think this is the case in Kim Potter?
I noticed the case in the Kim Potter because I like to smoke. I smoke cigars on a regular basis, and I smoke with a lot of affluent individuals. And a lot of them that smoke are police officers, prosecutors. And I don't tape it, but a lot of them don't know what I do. Surprise, motherfuckers. But they talk. They talk when they smoke. Right. And we talk about different things. I listen, watch, support the real. I have been talking to a police officer, and we got into the whole demo.
But this before you knew he was a police officer.
Before I knew he was a police officer, because I just smoke. I go there to relax.
He's out of uniform. At a cigar shop, smoking cigars,
kicking the bobo, and we start talking about, because there have been 2 murders of men in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area this weekend. It's been news again. The news come on saying this individual had a weapon. What did he have? Motherfucking sandwiches? I don't know what the fuck. But they just say things like that. So, oh yeah, he deserved to be killed. So I was talking to
fake news.
I was talking to the officer. The officer was like, I told the officer I ran back that scenario. But it happened that officers walked in on a call and killed the individual. They said he had a weapon. And I'm telling this, I don't know he's a police officer initially. So I tell him, if a police officer comes in and I'm in the store, I got a right to carry my gun. Police officer comes in and tells me to drop my gun. I'm telling that motherfucker, drop your gun. Because we both have a right to conceal and carry our pistols. Well, I'm dropping mine. And he was like, he made it was either inferred or he thought I said I had my hand on my gun. And we went on about that conversation. And he told me, he said, if you have your hand on your gun, I have the right to kill you because it's a threat. We're not going to argue that, right? We're not going to argue that, right? We're not going to argue that.
Right.
But we're going to argue the fact that Ron B in the middle, if we both are there and a crime has occurred and I have the right to have my gun, you have the right to have your gun, why are you disarming me? Because I might be an individual that came to the aid of this. Well, he's trying to figure out what's going on. Whatever. I don't still need to take my pistol off my hip. You don't need to take your pistol off your hip.
Yeah, but
Ron B in the middle.
Listen, man.
Ron B in the middle.
You need to disarm yourself in that situation because even though y'all both got the same license to carry and stuff like that, but he's been to the academy. He is a person that's appointed by the state or the city or the county or whatever to do a job.
Overseers.
How can he do his job if he don't know you, for one? He don't know what you're gonna do, but you know him. You don't know him personally.
I do know. I seen him come in as a police officer.
You know him. You know him as a police officer.
Right.
You know what his job is. You know his job is to serve and protect. So at that point right there, everybody.
You ain't protecting me. Motherfuckers ain't never came to my protection. But
You never been in that situation. But you know that his job is to serve and protect.
I'm just
so if he tell you to disarm yourself or put your gun down or whatever, then your job as a citizen is to comply with what he's doing and try to get past whatever adversity is happening at that time.
Okay. Me and him had an argument about that shit. So we go back and forth, and he get to the point where he's like, I can kill you because I was like, all right, cool. We let that shit pass, whatever. We go on, cause the gentleman's from Missouri, where Mr. Michael Brown was killed, right? Murdered on the streets of Missouri, and Missouri just had a gentleman get exonerated after being in fucking prison for 44 years. Mr. Strickland, goddamn it, look it up, motherfucker exonerated, and didn't do shit.
And he told him he ain't entitled to no money.
$0.
Because they got a stinking ass rule to say if he wasn't exonerated due to DNA evidence, then he don't qualify to get money from the state for being compensated for his 44 years in prison.
So I brought that shit up. From his state, motherfucker, your state. And he was like, yeah. So we talked a little bit about that. And he got on, where our main conversation was about Kim Potter, sorry, Freudian mistake.
Tomatoes, Potter. Y'all know who we talking about.
Potter.
Y'all know who we talking about. Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
So we start talking about how she meet, her bail was $1 million. So how she get $100,000? She's a motherfucking cop. He's like, well, the union, that's all that for. The union came with some of the money. That's to answer your question. The union came up with the money and all these different things to help her get out. I was like, I was like,
Let me make y'all understand something too about the bail system.
I was like that to him, like, what?
If you pay the full bail, which was $1 million, you're entitled to get that money back when you get done going to court, minus court costs and fees and stuff if you get found guilty. But if you owe $1 million back, you ain't got to pay nothing because you ain't found guilty. Then why you gonna pay court fees and fines and all that?
Right.
So, but if you pay 10% in the state of Minnesota, unlike the state of Illinois, if you pay 10%, that 10% goes to the bail bondsman, and you're entitled to get none of that back. So you telling me that the police union blew $100,000 on this lady?
They blew, but it's more than likely that's the citizens.
Because they can't get none of that money back.
None of the money back, but that's what they do for the individuals. So you go answer your question. That's why I have no problem blowing the motherfucker back. Because the police union gonna bail you the motherfucking out, no matter what the bail is, right? But who coming up with $100,000? Police union. But besides that, so I'm talking to the police officer still. I'm still not knowing he a police officer at this particular moment. I'm just talking to him like a regular Joe. So I'm like, so you trying to tell me? I said bail is set up where it's supposed to be a bail that a person. The Constitution says this. You're supposed to be able to afford the bail. He's like, yeah, that's right. He's like, that's right. You're supposed to be able to afford the bail. So, like in her situation, she getting bailed out, whatever. Our situation, we get these huge ass bills. The Constitution, the judge know we can't pay, but they're putting us in there to keep us in prison so they can make us take a plea. We don't ever get up.
Ain't no police or no kind of union nowhere trying to help us get out.
Nobody. I mean, you can barely get the motherfucking money in your books to make telephone calls. Fuck a bill.
Nobody.
Like who said that song? Who sang that?
Nobody, baby. My man Keith Sweat. Shout out to Keith Sweat.
So they bail her out, and I get into the Constitution with them. It's like the Constitution say, but then I get into the jury situation. I was like, the jury's never of your peers. 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 You've always get a jury that's all Caucasians.
I had two jury trials. only on one of my jury trials, I had a black juror.
And he was
and
alternate.
he was an alternate.
Alternate. What does an alternate mean?
Alternate mean if something happened to one of the 12 or one of the 6,
He might
be
coming off the bench. For real.
He never came off.
For real.
He never came off the bench, so I never had nobody of my peers on my
That's
jury
a
trial.
constitutional violation. So I get into that with him, and he goes into this other argument about because I go back after I get into the argument, tell him about the Constitution. He starts talking about, well, the legal system is set up for those who have money. Oh, okay. So I was like, okay. I said, all right, the legal system. So if you got paper, this is what the dude telling me. Mm-hmm. So if you got paper, I guess with them it's the policeman's union. Mm-hmm. You got paper, you're supposed to be able to get out. So I asked him, I'll throw a bunch of names at him, but then I asked him about, and he said, because I hit him with the bail's supposed to be reasonable. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're supposed to have the money to be able to bail yourself out and do the legal stuff and all that. Mm-hmm. So I hit him with Cleve Broward. I said, in his case, the bail was only $1,000. He eventually got the money up, but he had a DOC hold. You understand? So he couldn't get.
That's why they made the bail low.
He
knew he had the hold anyway.
Well, his offense was minor. He's supposed to steal something, whatever. So, but besides that, we're just talking strictly about bail.
But did you see
He starts talking about, well, the legal system is set up for those who have money. Oh, okay. So I was like, okay. I said, all right, the legal system so if you got paper, this is what the dude telling me. Mm-hmm. So if you got paper, I guess with them it's the policeman's union. Mm-hmm. You got paper, you're supposed to be able to get out. So I asked him, I'll throw a bunch of names at him, but then I asked him about, and he said, because I hit him with the bail's supposed to be reasonable. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're supposed to have the money to be able to bail yourself out and do the legal stuff and all that. So I hit him with Cleve Broward. I said, in his case, the bail was only $1,000. He eventually got the money up, but he had a DOC hold. You understand? So he couldn't get.
That's why they made the bail low. He knew he had the hold anyway.
Well, here's his It sounds good.
I got enough in me to keep me out of jail. You know what I'm talking about?
Enough.
But listen, what I want to talk about is how in the hell the state's so manipulative to get this man $1,000 bill. Usually, when you ain't got no, when you got a charge and you're a black man and you commit a crime or you allegedly committed a crime, they give you astronomical bail.
Yeah.
But this man was out on DOC conditions of release.
Well, he was on
and allegedly committed another crime.
Yeah.
When you do that and you're out on conditions of release with the DOC, they automatically gonna put a hold on you.
Yeah, they did. That's what
so by the state automatically putting a hold on them, you can't get out from this. You can't bail out.
This is Khalid Broward case we're talking about.
Yeah, you can't bail out. You can't. They're gonna automatically put a hold on you. So the state is so manipulative. They gave this man a low bail, $1,000. You pay $100, you out.
Yeah.
No property, no collateral, no nothing. Just $100 for bail bonds mean you out.
This is a person.
So if I don't have a DOC hold for the same charge, they're gonna give me a $10,000 to $100,000
so they want
dollar bill.
Make you sick.
They want to make me sick with spending money to get out and don't want me to get out.
Well, then you lose that money.
But because they got the DOC security behind them, they give them a low bill.
Yeah, they do that. They do that all the time. But it doesn't make any sense. But just back to when I was talking to the cop, because this is a carry on from the cop situation. I brought up Khalif Broward because he made a situation where about money. You should have money. I was talking about Khalif Broward didn't have the money, but he ended up getting the money, but he had the bail, but he never committed a crime. And I'm just trying to bring him to the point that the system's fucked up. But now I'm realizing he is a cop because of the positions he's taking. You know what I'm saying? I never, and then, so we go back and forth about that.
How long did Khalif spend in jail before they let him go?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. He fought in there. 2.5
years he sat in jail claiming he's innocent. And what did they do? They kept coming back with pleas, even though they did not have a witness to the crime. How do you figure that out? But that's not, we're talking about Kim Potter and her situation and how they treat us in the criminal justice system.
It's totally different.
We talk. So they took a man who was innocent. So how is it connected? It seems like it's a hodgepodge of conversations, but no, you got a man who did 43 years, 44 years in a joint, get out, who's wrongfully convicted, get out. So I tell the police officer that I say the system's messed up. I say and he agrees with me. The system is messed up. He's like, but back in the past, they were able to do that. They were able to convict people without that much DNA or this and that. He's like, now technology. So they want people to start believing in technology. Well, I don't know. Tyrone and Willie Bobo ain't running forensics. I see a bunch of white folks on that.
44 years. I was 3 years old when that man was in prison.
I'm telling you, Willie Bobo and them ain't running forensics. So you got to go into this white understanding of what forensics is. And usually, I've never been in a case, maybe in some high-profile murder case, where the defense brought in forensics.
OJ.
I'm saying a high profile.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a public defender.
Yeah.
People don't understand who's doing forensics. It's the state that's doing the forensics. It's the state's coming back saying these. So you got to believe that the state that's prosecuting you are going to have people working for you to come up with the evidence to release you from prison.
They got an unlimited amount of money. They can pay for forensics.
It's not going to happen. So he wants me to believe in that. He's like, it's not going to happen. But you also want me you want that black man to sit in prison for 40 some years before he gets vindicated. If he gets vindicated, if he makes it that far, if he's willing to not take a plea, and he's willing not to fight his case from start to finish. If he don't get shanked, if he doesn't die from some type of, because the living conditions are horrible there.
What?
You want him to live that for 40 some years for him to come out and get no money from the state.
I was in prison with a dude that got Hep C while he was in prison. They put him in a cell in Florida that they didn't clean out or nothing. They put him in his cell. He reached on the shelf to clean the shelf off.
Got
stuck with a dirty needle that was up there and got Hep C.
Fuck that, MRSA.
Hep C.
Staph infections.
Yeah.
We talk about staph infection. Yeah. So you want a man to stay in prison for 20 some years, like we talking about Richie and them, all them being in prison, 20 some years for them to get vindicated. Would they be 50, 60 years old? I mean, you can't do anything at that age.
Free my man Richie Rich.
And the fact of the matter too with Buddy, because he hasn't worked for 40 some years, he has no skills. He's 60 some years old. But nobody has nothing to say about that. But Kim Potter gonna receive justice. I'm telling you, and she gonna get off. She's gonna get off. But besides that,
I don't know about that.
I know about that. Ron B in the middle, she's gonna get off because there's no Keith Ellison ain't coming to save the day. Honorary Negro, he ain't coming to save the day. He ain't flying in to save the day. You know what I'm saying?
They got her tucked away going to court out there in the suburbs. Brooklyn Park is a suburb of Minneapolis, y'all. So
it's all good. It's all good. But the thing about it, here's the funniest part of that conversation with this officer. So he get into trying to throw a civil duty on me. He asked me, because I told him, I was like, man, I know a lot of black folks. I even know white folks who have criminal justice degrees who refuse to be police officers because they go on your little rides and see how you guys get down and don't want to be party to it. They don't want to be party to your system. So he was like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, and I told him point blank to his motherfucking face. I said, first of all, I don't call the police and I don't fuck with the police. Period. That's when I knew he was a police officer. I told him that.
So let me ask you a question. Stop right there. Let me ask you a question. if somebody break in your house and steal all your possessions, you got insurance now.
Yeah.
In order for you to make an insurance claim, you gotta make a police report.
Right.
You not gonna do that?
Listen, what I'm gonna do is figure out who stole my motherfucking shit and go knock on his motherfucking door.
So you gonna take matters into your own hand?
It's not taking matters into my door. It's not matters in your hand. You usually know who broke into your motherfucking house. And if you live in a community, or here we go back. I go back all the way to the community. If you live in a community, you pretty much know what's going on.
But you got random cases of people not knowing, people just go out and break in houses and stuff like that.
Listen. If somebody come and take my shit from me, and he cold enough to do that shit, take it as a loss. Get no fuck. You know what I'm saying?
What if somebody hit that BMW? You gonna make a police report to be insurance?
I ain't made the last time motherfucker hit my car. He ain't make it. He ain't. Listen, I'm not making a police report. Making a police report because it's a technicality in your insurance is different from me calling the police on you. Or this, to me, in my mind, if I already said I won't do it, but I'm not gonna fault a man. I'm not gonna be like, well, you call the police because your insurance required you to get it. No, you making it seem you're trying to minimize it to a point.
There's no difference.
No, it is. To me, I'm telling you what I would do, but I'm telling you too that I wouldn't fault a man who did it and wouldn't take him. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about I told him I don't fuck with the police. Period. And then when I told him that, he's like, because I went back, I'm kind of going back and forth, but I tell him that it's fucked up because the police in their community don't come from their community. And the conversation then developed into the fact of the matter is the reason they can't have police in the community because brothers like you won't become police officers. Why won't you become a police officer? Why won't you become a teacher? That's what he said to me. Folks, fans, he's trying to make me feel bad because I won't be part of this corrupt ass system, become an Uncle Tom Negro him. Become an Uncle Tom Negro like him. What you mean he right?
He right. I'm going to tell you why he right.
He wrong.
Listen. When I was a kid, my mama, she sold drugs. And she was laying on the bed, her and her boyfriend one day, counting money from these drug sales and stuff like that. And she asked me, she said, I was probably about 8 years old. She said, what you want to be when you grow up, baby? In my mind, I wanted to be a police officer. In my mind.
I ain't never want to be a police officer.
I was a little kid. Yeah. In my mind, I wanted to be a police officer. I used to always run to the police cars and get the free baseball cards and stuff in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, because they always got them in the trunk. But in my mind, I also knew I better not tell my mama that I want to be a police officer, and she selling dope and stuff like that. Yeah. So I lied to her and told her I wanted to be a fireman.
And she was okay with that?
She that's not law enforcement.
So this officer tried to work a guilt trip on me because I don't want to be a teacher.
And that's the point
I don't want to be a
make.
teacher. I want to be a cop. I want to be a motherfucking cop pig, motherfucker.
In my mind, listen. That's the point I'm trying to get you to see. If do you think if it was more people like
I'm glad you get to that point.
Like this color?
I'm glad you
if it was more people like this color.
I'm glad you're making that point.
Being on the police force, do you think that so many black men will be getting killed?
I'm glad you're making that point because we get to that point, me and this officer. So he says, he tells me about you don't want to be. He's like, that's what's wrong. He's like, it's too many people in the community that don't want to be police officers. Too many people like you that won't fuck with the police. There's too many people like that. That's what he tells me. One reason I won't be a police officer or become part of their institution is because what they do, they program you to think a certain thing. Me and this officer talked about it, and I'm gonna tell you why I split with him right away. Because I asked him, and my guy who does whatever he does was sitting next to me, another affluent black man in the community. Checked him on this. I didn't have to check him on it. So I asked him, I said, so when it comes to shootings, because in my mind, just like I hit you with, I said it's behavior. And so I said in the police force, these guys who are being brought up in the police force, you don't believe they're being trained to dislike African Americans, being programmed to dislike African Americans, see African American males as a threat. I said that to him. He's like, this police officer was like, no. There's been studies done that prove that dispel that notion that these guys are being programmed or they have that understanding that it's okay to kill black men. That's what me and him. That's why me and him. That's what. So
I
my
believe
guy.
back in the day that might have been
No,
the
I'm
case,
telling you right
but not
now. I'm telling you right now because my guy sitting next to me said, "You got to understand."
So you saying they train a black man to kill a black man?
Yes, they do.
No.
Why is it
I
not
can't
hard?
believe that.
Why is it not hard for you to
I can't
believe that? They trained him to believe that he is a threat. Why do you think that so many Negroes, like even in a joint, you have so many other officers on the other side of it that dislike you? Why you dislike me?
But all right, okay.
Why you dislike me?
Okay. Let me ask you this question.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't fuck your wife.
Wherever you work at, whatever jobs you had in your life. All right, say when you worked at the car lot. I ain't gonna name no names because I don't like dropping names. But I remember you worked at the car lot out there
A long time ago.
And a long time ago. They programmed you how to sell cars
Correct.
and how to do it that way and make sales on their floor.
Yeah.
It's like that with any job.
But
Hold on. Your character is your character besides whatever they're trying to teach you and program you to do.
So
you're going to do it to the best of your ability according to your character and how you grew up
But you got
and
an
how you
old
know how
boy.
to deal with people.
You got an old boy network. An old boy network.
Them people
You got
getting
people
out
like
of there.
Derek
Them
Chauvin.
people old now.
You got people who you see he was the oldest dude in that clan of individuals.
But them people retiring right now.
They might be, but their behavior is still being transferred on. This is how you do things. But besides that, that's not even a conversation, Ron B. That's not even a conversation. So he tried to make me feel bad because I wouldn't be a police officer, I wouldn't be a school teacher. It's the real problem because you won't be in because the reason I don't get into these institutions is because they program you to believe a certain thing. Just like as I go to school, they program me to believe that all these white people did all these things.
Benjamin Franklin and all
that. They was the first person to do this. I know better than that, but that's what their institutions do. That's what their institutions do.
I get that part.
You know what I'm saying? But I understand your character. Your
character is your character. How you grew, how you think as a man is already instilled with you at the point before you even go to apply for the job.
Being a group of individuals that pop, my sergeant just popped a black dude who didn't have no gun, who was instantly grabbing his keys. What I'm gonna do? As part of that, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna follow your sergeant? Mm-hmm. You gonna say what the narrative he gives you? I thought I saw a gun.
No.
Yeah.
Not me.
That's how it goes. That's why you're not a police officer.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yo, check your.
I'm gonna tell you something. Oh shit, low battery. Okay, close.
You got
still recording.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I work at a certain place. And there's vulnerable adults there. I'm not naming no names on that. It's vulnerable adults there. I don't deal with the vulnerable adults, but I see them on a day-to-day basis. You understand what I'm saying? If I seen you, say you my coworker, and I seen you mistreating one of them vulnerable adults or something like that, I'm not going along with you if investigation bust out. I gotta go talk to somebody about this shit because I can't be at fault right. If I see something, I'm gonna say something.
Okay, and
that's what they instill at the place where.
But they're not instilling that because believe me, a military mind is totally different than a civil mind. Anybody who's been in the military can testify to this. You're brought up in a chain of command. That's what they try to give you in prison, a chain of command. Why? You try to write the lieutenant. The lieutenant's gonna say, "Did you write the sergeant? Did you write the sergeant? Did you grieve the CO that caused it?" It's a chain of command.
Yeah.
Okay, so they follow a military understanding of everything. The police force, all the police force is another military. They call them police. They try to change up their behavior, make them look officer friendly, program. They're not friendly. Stop there. So this is what I want. This is the reason all that shit. Forget about what I just said. The conversation was this. This was the main piece of the conversation. The officer, now I know he's a police officer. What's up, Mr. Police Officer? The officer said, I know you watching. You saw my shirt. I know you watching.
If he ain't, he gonna be.
Yeah, I know you watching, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy you a cigar next time I see you. Fucking. So, he said, if it was 10 police officers, 8 police officers standing at Cub, drinking pop, having coffee, you wouldn't allow your son, your 8-year-old son, to come up and talk to us. I said, fuck no. Never let my son come up and talk to y'all. That's the problem, he said. That's the problem. If you saw 8 police officers standing there, you would not allow your son to come up and talk to us. I said, nah, man, fuck no. I would never let my son come up and talk to y'all. He said, well, we're gonna be in the community for 10 years, and it's good for them to have a good relationship with us and all this other stuff. There's 2 problems. There's 2 issues with that. There's 2 problems with that conversation. What do you think, Ron B?
I got a question for you.
I'm telling you, let's just say, there's 2 issues. I'm gonna explain the 2 issues, but I'm gonna let Ron B speak. They say I don't let Ron speak enough. He about to speak.
I got a question for you.
Speak.
What do you think the city of St. Paul would be like without no police force or no military force?
That's besides the point.
Oh,
we already know.
That's the point.
We know.
What would
we
it
know
be
what
like?
it's gonna be like. It's gonna be bedlam. It'd be bedlam. But what you can't
Do you
tell,
think you'd be
you
able
can't
to
tell
sleep at night?
how much of dick.
Do you think you'll be able to
you
go
being
sleep at
molested?
night?
Do you want this much dick, this much dick, this much? You can't utilize the police force is a spawn of the capitalist system. I told that dude. I told him before we even had a conversation. Before I knew he was an officer, I said that you understand where the police force came from, the historical evolution. You understand that. Because he goes back to the 60s and 70s. Yeah, back in the 60s and 70s, the police force was bad. They cleaned up their reputation. They did a makeover. Because police officers didn't give a fuck. They come out here and beat the shit out of you and give a fuck. Didn't give a fuck if it was on camera. Didn't fuck if they pulled your money.
I get
that was
it was built on a certain system. However, it has evolved over the years and it's getting better.
Better.
It's not getting worse. It's not getting worse.
It's getting better.
No.
They just killed 2 people the other day.
You know how many people they killed in 1940?
So we can just go from 100 people to killing to 10 people. It's getting better. The police officers, that's not their job. But so he asked me that question. Would you have this? I said, no. So, and I after he said that, I said, my son is 8 years old at that particular point. Mm-hmm. He turns 18. He gets into a little bit of trouble. He knows you was being officer friendly. In prison, what they usually do, if me and you had a little altercation, you was a white boy, I was a black boy, they'll bring me in. If I was right, say if it was some racist shit you was on, I wasn't even a racist motherfucker. You just did some racist ass shit. And I'm getting ready to file a grievance. I'm about to tell people about what's going on. They're going to bring that black CEO in. Hey, bro, it ain't even like that. Or I seen some CEOs doing some racist ass shit. Hey, bro, it's like, I'm working here. Man, Joe, they ain't like that. It just got out of control. That's what they do. That's what they do.
Right.
So my son, 18 years old, sitting in the interrogation room. He knows you was officer and you knew him since he was motherfucking 8 years old. He think you his friend. He tell you what's going on.
He tell you everything.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but I was there, but I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I had nothing to do with it. Just, tell you whatever the truth. Cause he believe you. Officer friendly, motherfucker, officer friendly. And what you gonna do? You gonna do your goddamn job. You gonna book him. That's your job.
But
that's your job. He gonna go to prison for 20 fucking years.
You remember the conversation?
20 years.
You remember the conversation we had about good COs and bad COs, good police and bad police? Yeah. What if he one of them? What if he one of the other guys, the other COs that say, or police officers that say, and your son confide in me and tell me the truth, and then I say to him, little brother, don't never say that again. Just keep denying it. And what if he said that?
And my conversation to you, so we gonna put your conversation on the table and put my conversation on the table. Mm-hmm. Now your son is there. Mm-hmm. Which one you gonna tell him? To confine an officer friendly, or keep your motherfucking mouth shut?
First of all,
keep your motherfucking mouth shut. Which one you gonna tell?
I'm gonna teach my son not to be going out here getting in trouble.
No. We can't go backwards. Your son is at the police station right now.
If my son got himself in some trouble, he gotta face the music just like I gotta face.
He didn't do nothing.
Okay, he ain't do nothing.
But he about to talk to this dude whose job is. The thing about it is you can't trust a scorpion. Their job is to do their job. Their job is to do their job. Their job is to, if the prosecution's got a bent, the prosecution seen you in like, man, you're part of the community. He knows you as officer friendly. You cool with all the guys. We need this guy to confess.
But it also goes back to Vanessa too. Remember what Vanessa said? Vanessa asked dude from Memphis. She said, what if?
Well, shout out to Vanessa. I appreciate that. Love your motherfucking intro, girl.
Vanessa said, what if you know your son go to school every day, get straight A's and B's, and then he come home and he work hard every day. He got a good job and everything. But after 3 o'clock, he turned into a whole nother person. We said in this scenario, your son ain't did shit.
But he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And they need to pin the crime on somebody. Same way my guy, Skits, gonna be on the show. I'm holler at my guy, Skits. I'm shouting out his name. But I know, bro, we go back to Stillwater together. But same way he did. And I asked him about Skits. Because remember, this police officer knows everything. So I bring up my buddy, Skits. I was like, well, what about Maris Barros case?
That's a Muslim that just got out of prison in Minneapolis. Got exonerated.
Yeah, I said he wasn't exonerated. They wouldn't give him exoneration. They the parole board met and let him out early. Whatever, gave him parole. Yeah, no man.
They don't even got a parole board system in Minnesota.
He went up before a board and they let him go. They didn't. We gonna bring him on the show. I'm gonna call him up. I gotta call him, but I gotta call you, man. I gotta call you. I gotta reach out to you. I got the number. Carlos gave me the number. I gotta call you. But they just let him go early. He's still fighting his case right now, trying to be innocent. He want to get innocent.
Oh, so his verdict got overturned? Or
no, it never.
Like
no, the parole board, like I told you, with the Minnesota, some board met and let him go. Okay. The governor didn't step in. No governor, no mayor, nobody stepped in on his defense. But this is what the police officer said when I was asking him about the case, because he knows the case. He said all his guys told on him. That's why they wrote that. All his guys said he did it. So, but the man was innocent. He was innocent. He didn't do the crime. He was innocent. But it still makes everything okay. So back to my son, and he's sitting in a police station. He's talking to Officer Friendly, whose job the prosecutor came in. The prosecutor have to come in because you know why they utilize them in our community, so they can have a liaison. They can have that face that they feel comfortable with. They trust the police officers now. And I'm making this scenario up, but I'm utilizing it to be factual. That's why the only reason we have black police officers in any community, because they have a black population and they're trying to at least have a face, because they knew if they had all white boys it would be an issue. So they put a couple of specks of pepper in there to make the food taste good, right? So we accept it. So with that being said, that's what they use. That's why they're utilizing him in the situation. So my son confides in him, gets 20 years. Because my son talked to him and he talked to them people. Now it could go your way too, but I haven't seen it many times go the way where a black police officer, because he's a Negro to start with, takes the defense of the little black child that did not do anything wrong. Because in his mind, it goes back to my programming. He's been programmed to believe that he's a problem. Well, he hung around with those boys. My son might be hanging around with those because he grew up with them. He might not be part of that organization. Yeah, he might just be with them. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
As the old saying goes, you lay down with dogs, you're gonna get fleas.
Right, but that doesn't mean that he should go to jail.
And then, but Mo, if I hang with you every day and I work hard every day, and say for instance you sell dope every day, and I come hang with you every day when I get off work, I know what you've been doing, Mo.
Right.
I know you. You my best friend. Right. I grew up with you.
That don't mean you're a drug dealer neither.
No. But it makes me just as bad as you, because as a U.S. citizen, it is your responsibility to report crime.
Oh,
I'm telling you, that's what it is.
You sound like Charleston.
No, I ain't saying that's what I do. I don't do that.
Candy.
But that's how the court look at it. That's how the people look at it.
But the thing about it is to put that duty on you as a citizen.
I don't do that.
No, I'm just saying to put that duty on.
That's your duty. That's your civic duty.
What if you was like that Keita, who claimed she didn't know her boyfriend was selling dope?
How you bit this man?
I'm just saying, Keita said it. Keita said it. She said she didn't know.
Mo.
Motherfucker selling kilotons.
How you with
weed?
How you
didn't smell that shit?
15, 20 years, and you don't know he doing.
She wouldn't.
He's spending all this money. He's spending all this money on you, buying all these exotic cars, living in his lavish house.
I'm not trying. That's speculative. I don't know what. She just, her case has always been.
Mo, you think you could be around me 20 years and not know what I'm doing?
I know, but we don't know she was around him 20 years. I could be around you. I mean, we could give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she didn't know. But I'm saying, but she got booked for the crime and she did the time for something she claimed she didn't do. That's not fair.
Exactly.
That's not fair. So I'm just saying, with this whole situation, like I said, with him, it was a heated our conversation, especially when I found out he was a police officer. You know, I just, you know how I feel about him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not to say, I'm not trying to say all police officers are bad, but all police officers are bad. When they put that uniform on, they got one job to do. And he never, and you know what I'm saying? The coldest thing I got to bring to this, I got something to say, conversation. I want y'all to pay motherfucking attention to this shit. When I hit him with the narrative, when I hit them with the narrative that they get versed in threat, it was a threat. Because that's what he used with me by me putting my hand on the gun. So they get versed with that narrative. So in Michael Brown's case, he came up and grabbed me and all this other stuff. They try to make this threat where it was necessary for them to act under the color of law and defend themselves. They get versed in that. When I hit him with that, he had nothing to say. He was quiet. He was chip. And he was. And then when I told him, and here's another point. Listen to this. I told him this. I said, listen. I said in this system, if they'll convict a man and give him life for killing one person, but motherfucker, they could kill 50 million people and don't go to jail. They could bring in kilotons of dope and don't go to jail. So I guess I'm not killing enough motherfucking people for to be exonerated by this system. You can't argue that point.
And our viewers, please don't get it twisted. I'm not for the police. I'm not against the police. I'm Ron B in the middle. Cause I'm totally against what happened in Atlanta when the dude in Atlanta, he was wrong for fighting with the police. He should have just resisted and took the arrest. But they was also wrong too, because this man running away from them and they shot him in the back.
And my conversation,
you understand? They killed that man. They murdered that man.
My conversation too with him and shut his ass up too was why you have active shooters with a gun like that boy that just did the shooting, a day ago, just did the shooting. Didn't get shot, had a gun. SRO on the scene, had a gun. They took him in custody without killing him. He had a gun. Active threat. Why? It's statistics out there.
What race was he?
I'm not going to say it. You already know Ron B in the middle.
I'm just saying,
he was beige.
Put it out there.
He was in the middle. He didn't, like I'm saying.
He was lighter than me?
He was a white dude, man.
Okay. That's what I'm getting at.
That he was a Caucasian, but usually active shooters are Caucasians, usually, and statistics show you have a better chance of being an active shooter than you have being a black man unarmed.
What about the dude in the nursing home earlier this year? Who? The dude that shot up all the people in the nursing home. He went into the nursing home up north in Minnesota. Yeah. He went in there and shot all them people. White dude. Swear to God, I seen this shit on the news myself. Y'all can look it up. He went in the nursing home, killed a few people, and the police went in and got him. He came out of handcuffs alive.
Active shooter.
Alive. He
Active
came out of handcuffs.
They ain't got no explanation for that. So you take a man who don't have a gun, who he's running away from the police, and you got to shoot him. You got Walter Scott, who's running away from the police. The police officer shot him and threw down the taser, threw down whatever he threw down on the man. Somebody caught it on camera. So stop it. Stop the shenanigans, man. Y'all ain't nothing but a individual sent out to patrol the poor.
Not all of y'all.
Y'all sent out to patrol the poor.
Not all of y'all.
You know what I'm saying? To harass the fuck out of them.
Don't listen to them. Not all of y'all.
Because if you, I'm gonna hit you up, Ron B in the middle. If you read, Ferguson started because police officers was in that community giving them bogus ass tickets. Revocations of license. They would see a car This came out through the Department of Justice report. You would have a car in your yard without tabs on. They would give you a ticket for it. So the people of Ferguson was getting all these tickets. So they were already being criminalized. Because if you get even if it's a bench warrant, they were pulling people over, sending them to jail to serve that charge. Again, in Ferguson, what was happening? This is what led on to all that animosity Ferguson had against the police. This is what you're not talking about. All good police officers? What the fuck is you talking about?
I didn't say they all good. I'm telling you, they ain't all bad.
I'm trying to tell you, the police officers were giving these erroneous ass tickets to the people of Ferguson, poor, who could not afford it. So what happens when you don't pay your ticket, it starts to...
Yeah, you fall behind in your bills. And then now you got to commit crimes.
Well, you committed a crime by driving your vehicle because when you don't pay your ticket, your license become revoked. Yep. So now you got an unpaid ticket. You got to pay to get your license back because you get to drive. So most black people gonna be like, man, shit, I'm gonna drive my motherfucking car. Pull you over, take you to jail. That's how Ferguson started up. When the Justice Department did their investigation. I don't know how many people read the report. I read the motherfucker. I was sitting in the joint. I read it. Page to page, and that's what it said. To break it down. So reform is not a conversation I have with these individuals. I don't say, you can say you're stupid for saying defund the police.
So what's the conversation you will have with them?
I have a problem with that. First of all, like they say, you gotta come to Christ and admit what you are. That's what you got to do. Admit what you are. Admit what you do. Say the truth. These motherfuckers got a police union who's paying police officer murderers bail. If my family, if I was convicted of a murder, and you know how the media does what they deal, made me look like I was guilty, and my family scraped up $100,000 to bail me out. You know how people look at why they bailing out that murderer? Nobody said anything about the police union bailing this female out.
Oh, hold on. Let me tell you what happened to me. When I got my marijuana charge in Minneapolis, my case was initially a state case. I got arrested, like say on a Friday night. Saturday, maybe Sunday morning sometime, I get a bill for $250,000. I call home and get the money to bail out, the 10%, and tell everybody, I told them what to do with the money and come bail me out. Oh no, it was a $200,000 bill. They come down and they go to the bail bondsman. My girlfriend at the time, she brings her deed to our house and she brings the 10% to the bail bondsman, her and her girlfriend, and they give them the money to come bail me out. The bondsman comes to the Hennepin County Jail to bail me out. My name dropped on Hennepin County Jail because y'all bogus over there. The sheriff comes to me in the middle of the night and knocks on my cell. He said, "Who the fuck are you?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Who the fuck are you?" I said, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" He said, "Who the fuck are you that somebody wants to pay $250,000 bail to get you out of jail?" I said, "My family, they love me. They care about me. They don't want to see me in here with you." He called the judge in the middle of the night after he left there and called the judge and said, "This guy's here for marijuana charge and his bail is $200,000 and they're here to get him out." The judge told him, "Don't let him out. Let him sit there until Monday morning when we arraign him, and then we'll let him get out."
How's the system fair? How's the system fair? How's the system fair?
Saturday night, Sunday.
How's the system fair? How's the system? How's that fair? You didn't kill nobody.
Nobody.
You didn't do nothing.
That's some marijuana. It's illegal right now.
Yeah, I'm saying you didn't kill nobody, but this officer went above and beyond his job to ensure that you said in their confinement because they wanted that conviction so bad. They wanted you to do all that time so bad. And that's what I'm getting with the system. That's why I say they want to act as though that there's not a systemic prejudice within it. And they wear it on their uniforms. They wear it on their uniforms. They wear it through the history of their job. You almost have to rebuild the police force and call it something different in order for it to even get any respect from anybody, especially in the hood. That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking for. That's what the voiceless, because everybody else is like, "Oh, how you said they came and got Johnny? They're not doing that. They're not doing that for us. They don't do that for us. They come to our and act like they're the Gestapo and question us as if we're enemy combatants."
I'm Ron B in the middle. Y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll be right back. I got something to say. You got something to say. We all got something to say. Let's say it.
Broken girls, the puff pass token girls, the showing off the ass, the joking girls who think being funny is the only way, or strip to make the money, or those who fade away from the drugs, from the bad love, from the extra pounds, drowning in shot rounds, fighting for a man who won your face.
A little bit about what's going on. I do want to have some conversation on the upcoming episode, which is episode 5 with BC and AC. About them, about them getting it in and about them coming back and demonstrating further, because we had the conversation before about this whole sovereignty.
The sovereign guys.
Yeah, so we got a sovereign guy and we got a guy who believes the 13th Amendment is the reason why individuals the reason why they can do what they want to do with you as an individual, because once you become a slave, And he's basically said that a judge is nothing but a slave master. You believe that? You believe so? So a judge is nothing but a slave master, and they're using the 13th Amendment. And then the fact of the matter is the reason why so many dudes having problems with understanding like nobody really gives a fuck about them, because really, do you give a fuck about a slave? Do you give a fuck about a cattle? When you kill a cow to eat it, do you care about it? So why would you care anything about a slave?
You know, when I was locked up in Florida, I still see the house nigga feel nigga syndrome going on. You got, okay, in Florida, you don't get paid for any jobs except for canteen operator, shoe shine guy, or staff barber. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else work for free.
Yeah.
You work in the kitchen, it's for free. You work cleaning up the dormers for free. You work front anywhere, cleaning the offices, it's for free.
Yeah.
But it's where the house nigga feel nigga shit come in. You got people that work up front in the offices and stuff and cleaning them up and stuff, and they get food that come in from the street instead of eating the child food. That's that house nigga feel nigga shit.
Do they what you mean? They order food for them, or they get the leftovers?
They get the leftovers.
Oh, like motherfucking dogs.
Yeah.
But they used to do the same thing in slavery too. The people in the house used to eat the scraps and bring them back to the family.
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
that they eat the good food.
That's what I'm talking
Master them eating the good food.
Yeah.
And they might even fix them a plate, you know what I'm saying? So they eat real good up in the house.
Right.
But they do the same thing in if you in a joint and you work in the kitchen, they eating good in the kitchen.
Yeah, if you cook your own food.
They used to, federal, they used to, I know they stop a lot of that where you can't make your own food, or you can't have, they give you extra, but the extra is limited. Because before you get as much extras as you want, but now they get it where you get on a tray, the middle part of the tray, they'll give you a little bit extra, whatever it might be. But you can't go back for seconds, and you can't make your own food.
Hold on, it gets worse with this house nigga feel nigga shit that I'm telling you about.
Okay.
Like, say for instance, Officer so-and-so brings in KFC today.
Yeah.
And there's 4 pieces of chicken left, and I get the chicken. I might eat one and take 3 of them back down to the pound and sell them.
Yeah, well, you're going to get a lot of money for
You know what I'm talking about?
You're going to get a lot of money for
You know what I'm talking about?
That shit worth probably like motherfucking $50.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. I mean,
not literally $50, but
yeah, canteen. I know I'll give you $50 for a piece of chicken.
yeah, KFC, Popeyes,
or if it could be a wing.
red beans and rice.
Yeah, now
Jambalaya.
you ain't had it for 4 or 5 years.
You ain't had it in 10 years, 20 years.
Shit, that shit tastes like gold. You know what I'm saying? Eating that shit. But yeah, so some real shit. I want to thank the individuals who've been subscribing to us and checking us out and following us on our platforms, because we're on all platforms: SoundCloud,
Snapchat, Twitter,
everywhere, YouTube. Our subscriptions
Facebook,
going up,
Instagram.
But we need loyal followers. We need loyal, dedicated soldiers down there, making sure we get to the next level. Here's the reasons why.
And we got something special coming up on the 100th episode.
Yeah, but here's the reason why. Because we've had a conversation before about not being able to vote as a felon. And you said, well, I got my voting right back. But every day as a felon, you vote when you spend your dollars, your hard-earned money. Whether it be, and I say, like I keep saying, boycott Target, because Target ain't shit. They don't hire felons. And that's how we got to start thinking as felons. Like, we're not going to support those places that won't hire us.
U.S. Bank Field ain't shit neither.
There places that don't hire us. We need to circulate that. If a place is discriminating against you because you're a felon, then you need to comment, let us know, so we can shout those people out negatively and let people know, don't spend your dollars there. I've been consciously not spending my dollars at Target because they don't hire felons. They don't want them in their field, but they want you working for them seasonal work when they need your ass. You got a good story about that, Ron B. in the middle. Why don't you holler at them motherfuckers about what happened to you and how they played you? And I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing.
You're right. A little while ago, a few months ago, I applied for a caretaker position at the apartment building where I live at. And I went through a little background check. And the background check was a little bit more extensive than the background check that I did to get the apartment.
You talked about that in previous sections, like they denied you
right
because
fingerprinted you.
Mm-hmm.
They went a lot further because and I understand you won't be working in people's houses.
Right. You're gonna have keys to people's cribs and stuff like that. So
they want somebody.
Right, and it's laws that have been enacted because of that. Because she showed me a whole story, everything. She showed me how to go to the website and look at it. And the reason why they created this law, because somebody that was a caretaker at some point, he went into this apartment and repeatedly raped and killed this lady.
Yeah, but they do that. They do that happens across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen real true crimes where individuals copied keys and came back to the apartment after they left the apartment.
Right.
So you really can't regulate whether or not a person, once they become a caretaker, is going to do. You just got to judge them on the character, right?
Right.
You can't judge them based on anything but you know because I mean anybody can do it. It doesn't have to be a felon. Is what I'm getting at.
But I got turned down a few months ago for that job because of my background. And what got me was my second-degree assault with a firearm. When I got turned down, I